My name is Mary Renfer. I live in Boiling Springs, North Carolina. I'm the owner of Broad River Coffee House here in Boiling Springs. It's right across the street from the university, and I've been living here for about 4 years now. I had done some work in the mission field in Central America, and then I came home and got a job here and tried to get through divinity school, and just ended up buying the place. And so God's just brought me on this beautiful sort of messy journey of growing to know him more and getting to know his character. I became a Christian about probably close to 10 years ago when I was 21. You can do the math. And like I said, it's just been an ebb and flow ever since, but just a beautiful journey. And I come from a family who we weren't active in our pursuit of God. I was raised Catholic actually, and my mom is just a strong woman of faith, but we ended up falling away from the church right before I got into high school and things like that. So I didn't really know who Jesus was or know a lot about him. And so, just like any, lost teenager, I was out drinking and just spending time in the bars and spending time with guys and just getting into stuff that was just not good for me. I ended up getting into a pretty serious relationship with a guy when I was about 18, and he was a Christian. And so he sort of kind of introduced me to Christian things, like it was introducing me to scripture, but at that point to me it was just a really cool book of poetry and never really thought that much of it. And so, but then we went through a pretty nasty breakup, so I had a pretty raw spot in my heart. It was just a gaping hole, and it just needed to be filled. And again, because I just did not know who God was, I was just trying to fill it with all the wrong things, just filling it with booze and drugs sometimes, and just became a severe alcoholic, and alcoholism runs in my family. And so I'm at a bar one night, and I run into some friends from high school that we had known, and this is probably, I don't know, 3 years later or something like that. My math's probably wrong, but something like that. And we're all standing around, and we're just kind of catching up in the bar drinking beers, and they started talking about Jesus, and I was like, you know what, I'm kind of interested in that at this point. And so I start talking to them, and we ended up starting this Bible study group. And so I met with them weekly. It was just, looking back, you can see how God was just putting the right people in my path and meeting me where I was, in a bar with these people that I haven't seen in a few years. And so we ended up meeting at our friend Liz's house every week. And I just came to have a loving relationship with God and just got to experience him in this walk with my friends, and just grew in knowledge of him. And the more we studied the word and got into scripture together, the more that God just became real everywhere else in my life, And so now, mind you, I'm still in and out of bars at this time and stuff. At this point I'm enjoying everything that's going on. I'm enjoying getting to know him, but I was having so much trouble separating myself from just this party scene. And so I ended up going away to college and doing a lot of ministry work there. And God just brought me through alcoholism, and I'm recovered there, been recovered for about 3 years now. And so that was just a long journey for me, but God was with me every step of the way. He just he would speak to me, just I want you to have life, I want you to be healthy and well, and things like that. And so I would just take small steps, started going to an AA group, spiritually based program where you just basically give up your will to God. And God just kept putting things in my path and kept giving me the choice of choosing which way to go. And so I would never be where I am today had I not just continued on that path of seeking God in my life, and just listening to the voice of Jesus and continuing in the Word and continuing in that. His Word is true, that his disciples who continue in the truth, they will be set free. And so it's not something that does happen overnight. It's something that you just have to continually work at. And I look back now and I'm just amazed at the transformation and the growth that I've experienced just because of my relationship with God. And so, and now he fills my heart, I don't go out and get drunk anymore. And it's not because I feel like I shouldn't, because God, it's in my heart not to do it, because I love God and I don't want to do anything that would separate me from him. And so it's a joy to be able to step away from those things now. And so, but it was just a process going through it. And so, yeah.